Namaste everyone. Here I am ready to give you a talk on the last session of Ubiquitous Communication and Management. So what we are going to discuss today is information management and context awareness. So information management is considered as central to Ubicom system management because kind of information generated in Ubicom application is very different from traditional applications. So, any aspect of the system that needs to be managed, operations can be modeled as information and then managed using information management techniques. So, for example, we can consider some application specific operation, performance operations, security operations. All of these can be modeled as information and then they are managed using information management techniques. So what information characteristics need to be managed? So there are several characteristics such as information volume, persistence, integrity of information, distribution of information, discovery of the data hidden in the information, namespace and interoperability of the information. Now these all in turn are affected by information characteristics. So what are characteristics of information such as hardness, richness and structure? So we will see what hardness is, softness is, richness is, leanness is and structure of the information. Hardness is a subjective measure of the accuracy and reliability of information. Information is considered hard if there is no ambiguity and information can be measured accurately. Anything, any quantity which can be expressed in numbers can be termed as hard information. For example, so height of a person can be measured in exact numbers. So that price of any item can be measured in exact numbers. So these are example of hard information. Now opposite to it is softness, that is softness characteristic. So wherever I cannot measure the thing in exact numbers, that will be termed as softness of the information. For example, a painting, an art model, these are all coming under category of soft information. The next is richness. So richness refers to the ability of information and media to change human understanding, overcome differing conceptual frames of reference, or clarify ambiguous situations in a timely manner. And opposite to it is leanness. So example of lean information is mathematical data. Then we will talk about structure. So common data structures are such as linear, hierarchical, graphical and matrix. These are all characteristics of information. Now soft and rich, both of these informations can be equated to intelligent systems knowledge representation. So what is knowledge representation? It is a collection of descriptions of the world that helps users define the meaning of their actions on the world, and it is used synonymously with the term knowledge representation. So for example, having a dialogue in natural language is termed as knowledge representation, or another example could be diagnosis of a medical condition can be termed as knowledge representation. So what the doctor has understood about that patient will be represented in the form of knowledge representations. Now we will see some basics of information. So what is data? So a raw input which is into data processes is considered as data, whose output is considered as information. So focus of data management seems to be information storage. In practice, it is on information retrieval. Information can be defined as structure or syntax. It is just to store data as a linear sequence of bits in order they are created. Semantics and interpretation of information is often implicit and varies according to the particular usage and pragmatics of the data. These heterogeneities in terms of syntax, semantics and pragmatics make it more complex to retrieve information and to use information. Generally, the data content, even within the basic type of file structure, also includes various syntactical indices and metadata which can help the data retrieval process easier and management possible. The individual information files from multiple applications are organized hierarchically into folders or directories by the operating system according to user or application specific categories. These files created and retrieved via file manager application of the OS. Now we will talk about rich versus lean and soft versus hard information. So in terms of current ICT system support for managing data, it is more oriented to managing lean hard data used for special tactical tasks, which is using RDBMS, HTML or XML byte sequenced and random access files. However, individual humans are still using richer, softer data for performing their day-to-day activities in hard paper format such as calendars, address books, list of activities to do, etc. Now, organizations' information management is focusing on alphanumeric data as well as multimedia operational data. So, the data which the organization may contain are business transaction, information of employees, equipment, buildings, or for example, it may have the operational data such as images of building plans, products information, audio visual stream data such as phone calls and video surveillance, etc. Analyzing these data to make decisions about how well different parts of the business are operating is important. These are represented as lean, hard data which is acquired in transaction processing system and stored in spreadsheets, file systems or RDBMS. Automated tools are used for purpose of decision support system and data mining techniques are used so that analysis of hard data can be done. On the other hand, the softer, richer data has to be managed manually and it has to be manually analyzed. Now we will talk about personal information management. Now, even though organizations tend to become more explicit goal and policy driven oriented, when operating strategically, they focus more on day-to-day activities. So, but there is an information gap between desired goal and present operational performance. And this is part due to the difference in higher softness and richness of the data which is needed for strategic goals compared to what is available for daily operational activities. So, the information gap exists between operational information to support daily tasks versus information to support long-term user activities and goals. There are several key challenges. So, the first one is soft and rich information needs to be represented so that it is machine readable and machine understandable. And in order to automate more of the information processing needed to support individual activities and individual and organization strategies and goals. The second challenge is to support the full life cycle of information processes for rich soft data to acquire and maintain such data. The third challenge is arrangement and management of multiple heterogeneous information structure which needs to be supported. Now we will talk about managing the information explosion. Now, as we all know, the number of UbiComp applications are increasing day by day. Increasing range and number of interactive devices that can sense the analog physical world and can read and record multiple channel, multiple content data has been increasing tremendously. So this requires an ability to leverage and to cope with increasing data explosion. So what happens here? The aim is to make more audio video recorded information available from multiple camera angles, for example, and to allow users to select and orchestrate from which camera angles they will watch specific episode in sports event, or enabling them to see things from multiple perspectives. So for example, we know that this feature is there nowadays in camera which gives us the 3D view, but long back Stephen Postladd has written in this book in 2009 that this kind of thing can be there. The project was My eDirectory 2012 project. This is real-time context-aware and personalized media streaming environment for large-scale broadcasting application project which is concerning researching and development, and it is related to more advanced interactive sports viewing for Olympic Games. So that kind of project was there at that time, and now we have got this example of 3D camera. So you can imagine the kind of huge data which is getting generated with the help of these UbiComp application. Different studies have attempted to estimate the amount of information to be managed. So just for an example, what is estimated is world produces new data at a rate of 2 to 3 exabyte per year. So this is what is estimated. Now compared to alphanumeric text, multimedia data is harder to manage, as we can see that the structure of the two varies very much. So how we are going to manage multimedia content? It concerns feature extraction from various media such as text, speech, music and video. Feature integration then is done into metadata media stream to enrich the interaction with multimedia streamed content that are synchronized to. And then the information retrieval of stored multimedia using multimedia metadata indices and multimedia metadata and data can be done. Multimedia content is implicitly rich and soft in nature, but the automated analysis and classification of multimedia data often generate leaner and harder indices or metrics. So you can have the example of a YouTube video. So that can be considered as multimedia data, but when we analyze on particular topic how many people have created the video, so that is generating this leaner and harder information. Now managing the lean and hard data can be done with the help of RDBMS. So RDBMS are that is relational database management systems, are the system of choice for managing the integrity of hard, lean, attribute based, application dependent data in the organization. The main information management requirement for lean hard data is to maintain the integrity of the data. The RDBMS model is not designed to correlate data across multiple applications stored in multiple databases and to reuse data outside the application that created the data. So this is what the challenge is there with RDBMS. So what is happening is the shift is taking place from network centric and application centric data management approach towards a data centric management approach, which is network and application agnostic. So RDBMS are designed to enable multiple applications to organize their alphanumeric data entities into flat organizations of table data entities whose attributes are linked with cardinality relationships, one to many or many to one. So managing the data, the RDBMS way maintains the data integrity for an application's data but loses the richer, for example, hierarchical composition and class relationships between these data entities. Therefore, RDBMS type data organization also do not support powerful searching across and interlinking multiple distributed application RDBMS data. So we can consider example of RDBMS application as TPS, that is transaction processing system, automatically input data into RDBMS. So this is how RDBMS data structures and are not based on proprietary structure, and it is lacking its strong data integrity support. So these are the challenges can be considered. Now we will talk about metadata. So we already know the term metadata, which says it is the data about data. So it is also referred to as annotations or notes added to the data. It is information to self-describe the data. So ideally it is expected that metadata should be stored with and bound to the data it is about. So what are the benefits of the use of metadata that we will discuss? First benefit is it eases the data discovery and data retrieval. So instead of reading and searching the whole of the data, the system can read and search the smaller metadata. For example, web search engine first search the metadata. Second, the availability of metadata helps the operational management of systems. For example, if intermediate integrity checksums are used with data transmission, any errors or interference can simply roll back data transmission to the last uncorrupted parts rather than retransmitting it from the start. The third benefit is metadata can be used to promote interoperability because data is explicitly distributed. Differences in data structure and semantics can be more easily analyzed as well as resolved. So these are the benefits of using the metadata. Now we will talk about the challenges in using the metadata. So the first challenge is disparate information sources. So the first challenge to leverage the data is the wide variety of sources that make up the corporate data landscape. So because of this, no escaping can be found from the significant portion of every organization's vital data which actually resides outside its database. Now it is necessary to create a consistent and easy to understand format across everything from sophisticated to rudimentary flat files so that metadata can be used effectively. So the second challenge is enforcing business rules for metadata. Creating a context of enforceable business rules around the metadata, it is an important aspect considered for maintaining data integrity and usability. So now we will talk about classification of metadata. So metadata can be classified as application specific versus generic metadata, and as the name says, application specific metadata will be specific to that application, and generic metadata, for example, file size, file name. So this is a generic kind of metadata which can be generated. And then there are three categories as intentional, extensional, and internal data schema. So benefit of a metadata model for Ubicom systems to separate these three concerns which are listed. Now we will talk about context awareness management. Now we have already talked about different scenarios where we were telling that our Ubicom application should be context aware. So the moment user enters the room, if the motion detectors are detecting the presence of the user, that very moment it is expected to have lights and fans switched on. So this is the very simple example of context awareness. So ubiquitous computing provides a variety of components and techniques so that it can manage human behavior within the physical world. So there are smart tags and sensors which can provide finely grained information to monitor people with respect to situations and to compile history of usage. So there are two aspects of context management which are considered here. So we are using context awareness itself to improve management of systems which is used for physical world activities and for human world activities. So sensing the temperature and sensing the temperature of a user will come into these two categories respectively. The operational management of context awareness throughout its life cycle has to be considered. Now context aware management of physical and human activities. So there are several core applications of context aware type systems to aid the management of use of Ubicom systems. So for example, location aware management of mobile goods and users to improve distribution or to reach to a destination. Then location based access control, then service personalization, ICT system management such as managing communication based upon the recipient's ICT context, then context aware power management and context aware access control. These are various applications of context aware type systems. So you can see how we can classify user activity as a composite context. So as you can see in the diagram, prediction models can be used to analyze past continuous data trends to predict unknown future data that follows the trend. So as you can see in the diagram, use of supervised learning algorithm can be used to form the decision tree induction to classify the user activity, as you can see in the diagram. So user activity, so what we are considering is activity, device type, posture, location, time. So this is how till the end activity is categorized as manual. So this is how user activity based upon decision tree for individual context can be performed for the purpose of context awareness. Now there are some challenges in managing context awareness. So it is to perform context adaptation when faced with uncertainty, ambiguities, contradictions, logical inconsistencies, conflicts, etc. So just to give you the simple example of when I say context awareness, so if there are two users in the room, so one is feeling cold and one is not feeling it so cold, so what kind of decision the system is going to take, whether it is going to switch off the fan or switch on the fan. So these kinds of problem may occur while managing the context awareness. So the solutions which can be used are data mining techniques, prediction models, learning algorithms. So this is how context management can be done with the help of ubiquitous computing applications. I hope you all have enjoyed the ubiquitous computing lecture series. See you in the next subject series. Thank you so much.